Hello everybody, welcome back. This is Space Engineers No Jetpack Survival. I am PsyPrime, and we've got a problem. Last time while we were building our ship, we had a little look to see what sort of materials we have left, and discovered that we've got 600 odd K of stone sitting in our drills right now, and they're completely unable to load it into the base to be refined. So if that keeps going, the drills are going to be basically useless, and we're not going to be able to refine any more iron. So we'll run out of materials before we get half of this welded up. First things first though, I think we need to get rid of a lot of these GPS signals, and luckily since a recent update we can now do this. Show it hard, unshow, and be left with only our antennas and ore signals. I think we can turn the ore detector off. One of these is on. That's odd. Let's find out where the ore detectors are on. Okay, ore detector. One of these is on. Turn you off. That'll do. Hey, we've got a fairly clean HUD now. Okay, great. So let's have a look at the area where all this comes in. So these are our refineries down here. These are 2 cargo containers. I believe we've got some smaller cargo containers behind here. If we can find the small cargo, well, whichever one is closest to the pipeline, we can see if the problem is further in the base or right near the pipeline itself. So this is where the pipe comes in, and this is all green, which says to me that this line is fine, because if we took one of these out, these would go yellow. So that comes into here. That's green on the line up there, so this line is fine. Let's just test that, actually. Just give that a little test. Right, come on, there we are. Yeah, these all go yellow. Back to green. So we know this line, and we know that line there is fine. We know the top line's fine because that's also green. We know this is fine because we checked that last time. Well, the last time we were up here anyway. This goes into here, so let's... Yeah, that's fine. And it connects directly into this cargo container, which is also fine. So that's fine. These are fine. So let's try and pull it into this cargo container, because it's the most immediate one, because this cargo container connects directly to there. And we know the big cargo container is okay. So inventory, that's the cargo there. LD drill. No, raise itself out. So we can't pull between there and there. So that means that the problem, wherever it is, let's put this back. That means the problem lies somewhere between the drills, which if they were damaged, they'd be on the damage report. They're not. And the pistons, but the pistons would also be on the damage report. However, one thing that won't be on the damage report that is in this area are the piston heads. Piston part, as it would be called. The rotor part up there is okay, we checked that. But these piston parts, one of these is damaged. Now, that means we need a means to inspect these piston parts and see where the problem could possibly be. It's unlikely to be down here, because all of this is shielded by all this rock, so nothing really would have hit it. Bullets though, however, because we got shot at from a big smoking pile of debris over there somewhere. Where's our smoking pile of debris? Put my lights on. I want to see what was visible to that battle that we had recently. It's over there. There it is. Right, so that's the pile of debris that was firing at us. And yeah, there. Let's run to it while I'm pointing at it so we can make sure that we're looking at the right one. That's the only piston part that would have been visible at the time. Couple of ways we can get there. I could build my way to it, or I could take the ship over to it. I think building's probably a little more sustainable. I'm just going to put a little slope here. I need steel plate. Of course I do. Of course I'm doing this on the small grid thing. Go big grid. There we are. Right. Okay, so let's turn this into a walkable area. Actually, let's just make it match, at least. Right. Make this permanent. Okay, so that allows us down to here. Now, it's a bit of a no-go from there, but I think from over here I can place a block just to get this whole thing started. I'm going to take all this, well, some of this down when I'm done, but I just need to get, yeah, a block out there. If this fails, we can always try the ship method. I've got a couple of ships. Actually, I've got like the space hopper. That would probably do the trick quite nicely. Right, so very, very carefully here. I'm going to have to try not to die. I don't want to risk stepping on the edge around here, so I'm just going to build this out a bit further. Right. Okay, that should give me the means to put a line really close to this piston head. That made it wobble a bit, so I'm pretty sure that that's as close as I'm going to get. Okay. Yeah, you see, if I took the ship here to inspect it, then I'd need to know what parts I need. Can I get closer? Yeah, come on. Yes, I need parts, right. It is that for sure. That's the problem. A little bit of deduction goes a long way. So, large steel tubes, and yeah, there we are. Let's get this thing repaired. It's a good job it wasn't one of the other ones. I think that's done. Yeah, that's all repaired. Right. And come back up here. Right. Nice. Okay, so the next thing we have to do, it's stopped. It should be on its countdown ready to turn around the other way, but then what I'm going to need to do is swap the pistons over, because I'm pretty sure that one of those is... Well, most of those are probably... Oh, God, here we go. This, it's going to come from that direction, I think, because that's where the sun is, somewhere over there. There we are. Ooh, that one was a bit close. That one right there. That was really, really close. Okay. Yeah, let's sort these pistons out so that we can keep getting materials in. Otherwise, we are going to run out eventually. So, LD. Everything's under LD for these. Which ones of these are... That's not quite maxed out. I think they're probably about as far as they go. That one's not. So, piston number 5... It's still at minimum. It's a bit weird, those alignments. A bit strange. Oh, current position is 0. Okay, right. So these are nearest grid alignments. So 10, 10, 10, 10, 0. Right, still piston 5. That's fine. We'll take time block 2. 1 per piston is So it'll be piston 5, increase maximum distance. Yes, right. So from now on, piston 5 will be one of the ones that increases. After that, we're going to have to go down there and extend it. For now, though, we can carry on working with our ship. So last time, what did we do? Last time we welded up all of our big thrusters. I think we put some of them in for the first time. We sort of fanned this out a little bit. And we put some conveyor lines in over the top to sort of pipe all this up. Now, I'm not convinced by the conveyor lines. I think my reasoning last time was a bit muddled. I put them down with the ones that, with the conveyor lines I've got because, well, originally I wasn't going to use pipes simply because air tightness and these big thrusters, which have big holes in them. I wasn't quite thinking that the middle square is always airtight. So I talked myself out of using the pipes and into using something else that's a bit more pretty, like these, which I would then have to panel over to make sure that when this thruster goes, this stays airtight. However, I've just basically made this harder for myself than I need to. So all I can do is basically take all these out and put the actual pipes in that I was originally going to do, and that should look a lot better than this clunky mess. So I'm going to do that now and then come back to you once that's done, because I don't want to make you watch me do this whole thing again, and you already know what I'm going to do and I'll walk you around it afterwards. Okay, that's the last one. So what I've done, I've used pipe ends for these bits because they've got a nice big flanged bolted bit at the bottom, which makes it look really, really secure. For here and here, these are just straight normal T-junctions, straight normal ones, T-junction, and flanges for all of these. I left these in as they are. I thought that was probably the best way to go. I'm not sure what to do about these side pieces yet. When I panel around the floor, this might be a bit of an iffy part, but I could take this out, put a T-junction on and put something on the front, but then again, I'm not going to be able to panel these bits again properly. So yeah, what I'm going to do now, I'm going to sort of plug up these holes in the floor because I'm tired of falling down them, to be honest. We're just going to go straight across this entire run to there, not this one, because I want to leave that for some sort of a wall to separate these spaces off. This covers up these nasty bits, so a little less of the yellow, which might make it okay having these bits there. We may find another way to go about sorting that out. Right, that's good. Weld this up, do the other side, and then I will once again come back to you. And that's the last one. Right. So, yeah, now we have what I consider to be most likely airtight space. I hope so. All our piping, we're going to, again, we've got time to paint all this at some point, so we're going to use our paintbrush tool to do that. Not paintbrush, paint gun. It's the best way to actually paint without having to worry about blocks being in the way of other blocks. This space here, I think, see, that's going to get covered over because this is going to be a single floor, this bit. Potentially with some welders pointing down at these batteries. I think that's really important. So we could potentially put that in now. Maybe we do. Floor wise though, for this, I do want a wall between these. I don't want this to be a wide open space because wide open spaces are notoriously tricky to work with. I mean, you can fit everything in nicely, but then it just looks like a waste of space. So there's got to be a wall here, which means straightforward, really. We have to have blocks across here. Now, what have we got here? I think this is an interior plate job, this bit. Which means I need a lot of interior plate, in fact. So Let's grab a bunch of that. Interior... Actually, no, that should be on me there. Interior plate. There we go. I don't have... Oh, that's a sorter. Yeah, there's a lot of stuff stuck in one of the sorters. I'll have to get it to spit it all out at some point. Right. Okay, let's pick a block that looks good here and makes a good ceiling as well. Obviously not that type. Oh, an inset wall... Inset walls. That's a shame that doesn't cover up that side block there. I picked that one because it looked good and it's... Yeah, bit of a shame. What we got here? Corner invert. Okay, so there's no lighting on there though. I want lights for the ceiling. Inset pillar, inset wall light. Aha. We could. It might be a bit weird putting a railing on the wall. We could do that, but then that bit at the end just doesn't look right. No light. Angled interior wall. Something. Interior wall A. Pipeworks. It's not bad. But there's no lights on it anywhere. Although you can have pipes pointing at the ceiling. I want lights mostly because there's not really much room to place lights in the space underneath, so sci-fi interior wall might be the way to go because there are lights on these like that. So if I turn that way, you can have the running lights and still have a light on that side, or have piping on that side. I think lights. Let me do that. A lot of thought goes into some of the more visible blocks. It's really the only way to go. I'm using interior mostly because it's light. Now this gets rid of my sort of way of cross there, but I'm just going to weld these up now. So actually no, I should place them on the other side while I'm still holding all the interior plate. Right. Now I want all of you to keep your fingers crossed that we don't get attacked today, because that slows us down quite a lot. Right, same on this side. So 7, turn that round, and we're going to mirror it. Right. Hearing protection, come on. Protect everyone's ears, protect mine. Okay. Nice, nice, nice. Get the last bits that I can, and then we'll have to go back through. We're getting some popping on the audio. I do apologise if you can hear that. I'm not sure what it is. Sound engineering on this game is a bit balked anyway. I could go back to arcade, but then everything sounds even worse, in my opinion. Okay, good. So that's the first part of a wall between here and the next section. Separates this off so it's not quite so open. It also gives us the means to come out of here and walk on top of there, and that's quite tidy. So that's good. Nice little double whammy there. We're gonna have to have a wall across here at some point. This lot needs welding up. Other side, again, nothing needing to walk on because we don't need to. We don't have a like corridor over here yet. Might put a little kind of what are they called? Things that usually are Jeffrey's tubes if you were watching Star Trek. Tube. Aha, here we are. Willis duct. Yeah, of course, Bruce Willis. Die Hard. Willis ducts. I feel silly for not getting that. Okay, I'll put that there for now. So we could do Willis ducts across this side, potentially. I think that way up's the way they go, because then you can get in. So yeah, it's just like random things. Well, it's great there as well. Light. There's ones with lights as well and all of that. We'll decide on that at a later time, I think. So that's an option anyway, Willis ducts. Right, good. So this area here is definitely to be left open. We're not going to put anything in these spaces because access to the pipes and everything is important, and it's going to overcrowd this area a bit anyway. I think to the sides here, because they're going to go a bit wider, we're going to put some other cool stuff in, just to sort of make this look a bit better. But for the moment, I think we need to start getting the stuff on the middle of there. We don't want to start working our way out too much before we've actually got the middle bit done. So I need access to the top. This is very ship-like already, actually, because it's very much like you can go almost anywhere and loads of ways around right now. There's doors and things. Okay, so this comes out here. I could put some sort of a floor on top of this if I want, like further corridors, maybe. Protect ourselves from the welders. I think that's a good idea. Potentially we'll corridor this off so you can't get straight into there, but you'll be able to see the welder system. As for repairing the welder system, it might be a job for upstairs potentially, so we can repair them from the top, which is safer. So I think that's how we're going to do that. Right, so these lines definitely need to carry on. This is very important piping, ducting. But we're going to have to join them together at places so that we can place a series of welders down the middle of this run. So I think for the sake... Oh, that's damaged. Temporarily bridge that. Looks like we took a couple of shots. Okay. Right, now I have to think how a welder's going to fit in here, and is it going to impact... Yeah, we can't run them down the middle. If we run them down the middle, it's going to get dangerous for walking around. And they're going to be super visible from inside this room. I really don't want that. So we're going to have to run them down the... more welders if I run them along here. But we're safe distance. Yeah, I think we'll be fine. Right, so... let's have a look at the sort of distance we've got here. We need to be running them down at that level there. Why is my Falcon Strider wobbling? Weird. Okay, so we're going to run them down at this height here, which means at certain intervals, well, that one would go there. I mean, ideally it would go kind of in the middle there, so it does all three of them. But that one would go there. And we then skip 1, 2... Actually, no, we don't. Yeah, okay, we'll figure it out as we go. So, for the moment, I'm going to put the welders in first, and then I'll pull out some space. I'll put some spacer blocks in for the time being. Yeah, so spacer. That's a full pass-through. Welder. Spacer. Yep. Wonder if we keep the spacers in. No, it's extra weight that we don't need. This is just to hold everything in place until we get the piping over the top. So I could potentially go another spacer, then welder, but then this welder's kind of only doing one, so we might as well make it do two instead. Okay. There we go, spacer, spacer, and again, I need steel plate. Why didn't I bring steel plate? Can I reach that from there? Yeah. Well, that's good. One more spacer. Yeah, then welder. Why did I go to 7? It's on 8. And then 5. Then we go spacer welder, that's it. Right, and then we repeat the same on the other side-ish. Spacer. Getting lost in my own stuff. Right, that's it. So that's all the welders. I'm going to have to put the piping in over the top and then weld this up. They won't weld each other up because... well, maybe they would. No, they wouldn't. They're too far apart, I think. 7, 2. Okay, so... these ones is... right, okay, so we do a... something that looks nice. Yeah, the end. I like the ends. I need the interior plate. Again. Oh dear. This is rather bad. We just take fire. Yeah, I guess you didn't cross your fingers hard enough. Oh. Kill the damn robots. Are they too far away? Okay, so we've definitely taken damage on our ship. Can't quite tell where they got to. Okay, alright, we're gonna have to do a bit of a recce, find out what we lost. We definitely lost something, I felt it. I think we took a bit of damage around there, but that might have already been there. Let's go up here. See if I can see any obvious damage. Potentially... so they've got really strong guns, these guys. I don't think we lost any loose blocks here. Oh, there's some damage there. Some holes in the ground over there. We're going to have to weld this up at some point, but it's just going to take a hell of a lot of steel plates, so we can't do it just yet. That's where it got to. Are there any more? Maybe they actually made it in a bit further and... okay. Maybe we haven't taken any damage. We'll find it on the way if we go, if we have. Right, so I need to come back up to here and carry on what I was doing. Could just drop down there. Hey, robot raiders all the time, constantly. Well, not constantly, but often. Right, what was I doing? I was putting pipe in him. We were going to go with the end. Yeah, that's it. Then I need the T junction, I think. We can always swap some of these out for them. I don't need that there though, because that one right next to it, yeah, this one over here, is already a multi-way. So we'll do that. Then it's a spacer. Why did I go that way? Spacer's right after the T. Then it's another T. Then it's a lot of spaces. 2. I wonder if we make that middle one a T going the other way up. I think we do. Okay. Yeah, just to give us a little more. Yep, then it's a T going the other way. It's normal. And then a T going out. Right, that's all of them. And then I can get rid of the spaces in between now. Yeah. Good. Okay, we have to weld all this up now. So, actually no, I probably should put the other side on first. Which kind of means having these in there so I can just get across. It's a bit easier. Yeah. Might make this a permanent bridge across. I don't know. Maybe not. 7-2, and we'll just carry on as we did then. If I can find our pipe end. There we are. Right. So now we know where everything's going to be. I'm literally going to just copy the other side so it's symmetrical. That's it. And then I put my welders on the bottom of these bits. So let's make sure they're going the right way. Doesn't really matter because they're all connecting at the top actually. But I just don't want these ports sticking out on the sides. They're not useful there. Great. That's wonderful. Right, let's put a load of materials back. I think I can access that. And just pick out what I need here. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Good. So these are literally touching these batteries. They're also close enough to this side wall here to keep this wall welded up as well. Right, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Pull them from there now. Oh no, I can't because it's not well piped in. Duh. Oh, hearing protection. Come on. There we go. Right, that's one side. Get the other side done. So let's do the pipe at the top first. At least in that order. That's everything. Then that's actually piped in, and now I can just pull the rest of the resources I missed from there. Good. Good. Okay, that's all of it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. All this. Marvelous. We probably could do some control on this to ensure that these are not on when we're in this space in the middle, because if for some reason one of these welders turned on when we were anywhere near it, it's nearly certain death to somebody. So but we'll let them be on when enemies are in that space. I think that's important. I think from here I'm safe. Let's just test it. So I can stand anywhere at this level because I'm not at the pointy, dangerous red end. So that's fine. Right. So it's just in this bottom floor. Anybody in this room it's going to be a kind of like a do not go there area. I could have said that better. Right, the way I'm going to do that, where's the middle of the room? That's the important bit. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. That's 11 blocks from dangerous end to dangerous end. So that would be the 6th block in, 5th, 6th block. Yeah. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, bang on 6 there. So I'm going to put that in there. I think that'll always be, I think a cross member there is pretty good in steel plates, so we need more steel plates, obviously. This is good, right. And then I'm going to put a sensor right on top of the middle of that. Because nobody's going in this space where I'm stood right here. This is going to be a big no-go zone. I think. Probably. Right. So, sensors. Where did I put them? 4.
Energy low.
Okay, it's low. I don't think it matters too much which way round this goes. It's in the middle. It's going to be fine. As long as it's that way. Right. Let's get our energy, and then we can figure that up. Right. Back up. Okay, sensor's already sensing me. Good. So we're going to have to name this thing and set it up. So battery room sensor. Right. So I might rename all these to cooler names at a later point, but anyway, this has to be show on hard, and I need sensor field range on because I just can't be bothered working this out mathematically. But I do know top and bottom extents are going to need to go to the equivalent of 6 blocks, and 6 blocks is what, 2.5 times 6, so that's 12, 13, 14, 15. Plus half of the middle one, so that's 6 blocks is plenty, isn't it? Actually 5 blocks I need to go plus that, so I think 14 meters would probably be good enough for top and bottom, so we're just going to try setting 14. Shift click 14 on both, so bottom extent and top. Where's top? There we are. 14. Let's see if that covers the space I want. It stops there at the doorway, which is
meteor storm inbound.
what? Again? Oh, this is perfect. Okay. It's coming from that direction. I'm just going to stand here and hope we don't die. Let's help. There's no way I can hit a meteor with a gun like this, but we can pretend. Yay. Right. Yeah, this is perfect. Now, the height of that's way too high and it's in the wrong direction, so what I need to do is change the front extent to be far less. But we're just going to raise that just a teeny tiny bit more, like 1 meter. And then the bottom extent needs to go down 5 meters. No, not bottom, it's back extent. But that's already 5 meters, okay. That should be all the way down to the floor. Yeah, it is. perfectly to the floor because it's 2.5 meters and then another 2.5 meters. So anybody in this space is going to trigger this sensor. The widths of these, is that all right? I'm not sure if I want them to work that close there. Okay, left and right needs to come down by 1.25 meters. Left and right, so that'll be 3.75. 3.75. Yeah, dead on. Right, so now what I need it to do, well, I have to group up all my welders first, so welder, oh god, which ones are they? It's going to be the white ones. These need naming properly, so big ship, I'm going to call it BS. Battery room welder. In fact, no, it's got to be big ship because otherwise it's not going to pick everything else. That we are. We're just going to name all the right ones the same. I don't need the 1, 2, 3, 4s and 5s. I can put one on the HUD if I need to identify which one it is. So that'll be fine. Right. Okay, I'm hoping these are all the right ones. It feels like it from the selecting here. All these are all on subgrid, so they're the welder wall. So let's select all 8 of these. Give it a plural name. Good. And then that means I can access this, go to setup actions. Okay, so slot 1 on first detection, so when somebody comes into the room. So groups. Where's our welder groups? Welder wall is not it. Where's the other one? Why does it not have this icon? Big. Groups. I hate that sometimes it gives it the icon, sometimes it chooses not to. Unless have I put something wrong into this group? Welder. Oh, did I not save? I didn't save the group. For some reason, it just didn't save. Okay. I must have forgotten to hit the save button. Okay. Right, let's try this lot again. So groups. This should be, there it is. Right, so on first detection, we're going to turn the whole group off. We're not toggling. Otherwise, when you walk out and then walk back in, things could get a bit messy. And then we're going to turn them back on when we leave the range. So all of these should turn on as soon as I step over here. There was some damage. That's interesting. Or was that a damage or I just didn't weld it up properly? And if I step back in, off, on, off, on. Right, perfect. Let's go down and test it properly to make sure it really works. And then I have to tell it what to detect. So, if actually we'll do it now. Sensor. Battery room sensor. Right, so what are we detecting? We're detecting the owner, yes. We're detecting friendly people, yes. And neutral people, but we're not going to detect the enemy. Don't need to detect any of these things. Yes, players. Let's put an audible, yeah, let's have this as an audible alert, actually. Yeah. Right. Let's go into that room and see what happens. Visor. Right, I can see the red on them right there. I've just walked into the room. I'm not in danger yet, but Oh, there's a point. Okay, I can't... Yeah, okay, so there's nowhere I can actually stand without it turning off. Now they're all off. I can walk around here. Now it's back on. I just want to make sure, can I get hurt? It's extremely unlikely. Maybe I have to... I'm wondering if I need to widen the range a little bit so it doesn't cover... Like, so it covers this area. Well, to be honest, no, because I can't get hurt. Okay, this is working perfectly. The audible alert might start to get annoying, but it is what it is. Right, so we have our battery room welders in. I think that's pretty good so far. This corridor needs to carry on. I also need to turn off show on HUD on that one. So sensor, battery room sensor, show on HUD off. Says field range, tell all that off. Right. So here that corridor definitely does need to carry on because we need to get to the back of the ship at some point. And the back of the ship here, I mean, this is the lowest level right now. There isn't going to be anything below this. So the back of the ship here is probably where we're going to start putting in things like cargo and engineering stuff, production, and then a bit further back, way further back over here, we need hydrogen and all the gases and stuff that are explodable. Don't want them too close to this part. So we're gonna put our tanks in as isolated an area and like well shielded an area as possible. Not in the middle of the ship where it could cut the ship in half if they go boom. So okay, let's get some corridor into this space, and that means I have to go back up, but yeah. And then we'll think about how we're going to handle the other side. So come on, here we go. So it's going to continue this sort of line here because this is maintenance access, this sort of corridor. We're not got to the parts where we need the big round corridors yet. There's whole other decks for all of that. So we're still in like the lower engineering deck right now. Okay, I need corridory blocks. And obviously not them, because they're rubbish. Not them, because that's problematic. Oh, although... No, because there's no windows on any of them. I do want visibility of what's kind of going on in this room. To a certain extent. We got a door on there, have we? Yes, we have. So I can go straight in for... Oh, I need interior plate. Right, okay. One. Okay, we can put one in for now. Can almost put one in for now. There we go. Okay. And you can't access it through the wall. We just thunk it. Two. Right, so we're going to do... Number two, I think, yeah, it's cool to be able to see out both sides, actually. That's a bit of a dud, though. Maybe I go for one of the ones without the windows in, but it's got to match the shape. Yeah, like that. Yeah. The next time we do one of these, it's got to be a lit one. Light now, it's only windowed now. So I'm losing my mind, I swear. Where was it? Nope, nope. Yes. Okay. Right, the next one needs to have a light in it. I saw one on the way round. Go on, passes 3 light, that's it. There we go. We carry on here. I think maybe I do want access to that bit. It's a sensor there. It's kind of a bit important. And we could probably do with some sort of a catwalk down the middle of here. And I think we should keep these here. So, yeah. Yeah, okay. So, windowed one first. So, in the 3s. Why aren't all the 3s together properly? Bit strange. Window, there we are. Of course. Right. Then I need a junction. Three-way junction. It's a cross junction. Do we have a T? Yes, we do. Okay. You'll do nicely. Okay, good. We'll come back to that in a minute. We'll just carry this path on. So we need another one with a window. Come on, pass the 3 windowed. There we are. Good. Not windowed because that's in the way and it looks silly. So passage 3 light maybe again. Maybe not. Got a light in the middle there. I think if we just put a light there, it's going to start looking weird that we've suddenly got 2 lights really close to each other. So if it's a problem that there's not enough lights, we can solve that. 3 sides. Yeah, perfect. Do you know what? I'm just going to put that there as well because might as well just get this right now. Or windowed, yes. This is a good spot for a light. Was that? No, this is windowed again. Sorry. Duh. And then it's a light. Or it's a door. Possibly a door at this point, actually. We'll come back to that. Right, so I've got most of the materials for that. Need to clear my... Oh, build plan's clear, good. Right, one. There. Duh. Take them from the end until I've welded it. Better. That was quicker. Right. Now we need to get this bit covered. So, if we doorway it, we're going to have to do something because we can't build on that square, obviously, because there's a sensor right there. But if I put like a little doorway here, something that just seals this bit off, and then we catwalk across there, so we got access to all of the welders, and then we Willis duct the other side potentially at a later time. Not sure. Maybe. Do we do it like that, or do we do narrow door? Nah, not feeling that. That door won't work here. Turn that round, it looks a bit odd. Do that, there's plenty of space for it to work. I think we go with that. Yeah, because that gives us immediate access to that straight away. Then we need to put catwalking along here, so this does not have to be airtight. It just has to work. Start from this end. Right. So I only need to go to the end. Good. Let's get in. Right. From here, just need normal ones with a railing. There we are. Okay. 2. I guess I'm going to have to weld you up. Okay. I can't place that there, but I can... I can't place that there either. Do I have to come out of here and... Oh, that's why. Because I'm an idiot. Right. Better can't do squat about this space, but that should be open a bit anyway. And then we need to continue that catwalk along there, which it'll be held by the welders themselves, which is fantastic. Right. We're out, okay. Good, right, so catwalk done. Maybe that end one should have been... I don't know, I think maybe that end one should have possibly been an end. We don't need to go any further than this point at this stage, so... Of course it uses more materials. There we go. And at this point, do I Willis duct this? I think it'd be kind of cool, but it could break some of the airtighting in the next room if we go all the way through. Because they're definitely not airtight. It should be something for the bowels of the ship, I'm thinking, but potentially could be good for anywhere. Again, I think we're going to leave this kind of open to thinking about it later. For now, I think we have probably done enough. So I'm going to come out of here. These bits here are a bit odd because of the way I've put these. But they're not really going to go any other way properly, so never mind. Let's come down. Again, over here, going to be a massive cargo hangar or ship hangar or something hangar. We could work on that maybe next time, maybe the time after. Got quite a lot more to do, so let's just get our energy. And we're going to come down, out of the ship, have a little look at what we've done. And see if it looks okay from the outside. I mean, it's not going to be outside, but kind of want everything to look okay from every angle. So from this point of view, nothing looks like it's just changed. What's going on around here, by the way? Big holes in the ground. I don't have the materials to deal with it. Now I do. That was weird. I could have sworn I saw damage. Ooh, some weirdness going on there. Loads of scrap metal here. We might have to do a bit of a sort of server type cleanup at some point. Just to keep performance going. As good as any computer is, this is not the most optimized game in the entire world. It's pretty good, but it still has its slight issues. Right, let's find these holes before I fall down them again. There's one. That was weird. That sounded like sand. Right, where's this next big hole? There's a load of holes there, but I can't place blocks in them because there's stuff in the way. So that's what happens when you break something. Right, that's better. That should be kind of all the way to the end, right? There are more holes. I need to find them. There's one. They're really hard to see from the ground. There's one. Oh, there's a couple there. Do I see another one here? Maybe, maybe not. I'm reasonably satisfied at that. He spoke too soon. That's the same hole I fell down last time. Okay. Right. I think I'm happy to say that what we've just done... Yeah, there's a bit of visualness to that there. You can kind of see where the piping's coming through now, like all the areas where we've got sort of core piping where we can actually continue building off and adding things to, like more thrusters and, you know, fueling weapons and bringing oxygen, hydrogen, sort of everything else to every area of the ship that it needs to get to. So this is starting to form the core of sort of the I guess the nervous center of the ship. Obviously there's going to be a lot more out to other areas, but yeah, we've got a lot of redundancy going on in there, which is fantastic. How do these look now that we've plated in the core? Yeah, these look alright. They're housed nicely. We've still got some gaps. They're windows though, so that's alright. That's how it should be. Okay. I am going to call this a day successfully done. We probably have damage somewhere that we need to find, but we'll come across it eventually. Okay, so that's it for this particular episode. Have a fantastic weekend, and whatever else you're going to do between now and next time I see you. And we'll catch you next week. Bye for now.